Hi, my name is Anna Foster, and I am your council popcorn kernel. I have a 15-year-old son who is a Life Scout and a 9-year-old son who is Weeblo this year. I have been a part of popcorn as the popcorn kernel for pack and troop for 7 years now. I have also been in council as the district popcorn kernel for 4. I would like to introduce Brittany Smith, who is the popcorn kernel for Pack 42. Last year, Pack 42 sold $68,000 in popcorn. 50 scouts in the pack out of the 50, 39 sold. 36 hit a pack goal of $350. 11 of 13 hit the 2,500 pledge that they committed to. They had an average of 1,749 per scout sold, and 24,775 top 4 sellers. The top seller in Pack 42 was 12,414. And here is Brittany Smith.
Hey everyone, my name is Brittany Smith, and I am a stay-at-home mom to 3 kiddos, a 10, 8, and a 1.5-year-old. My husband's in the Navy, so we move around a lot. I have been the popcorn kernel for Pack 42. This will be my 2nd year, but I've been a popcorn kernel for 3 out of the 4 years of my son's scouting career. And in those 3 years, we have been to 3 different states and 3 different councils, so it's been challenging. We also, in those 3 years, I've helped our units sell $100,000 worth of popcorn. I like to be the popcorn kernel, and I enjoy what I do because it helps families who, like our situation, we're a single income family. So when my kids want to do activities, it's hard to put them into something and then have incurring expenditures that come up while they're in those activities. So as popcorn kernel, it helps me to get a feel of what families really need and want, and then let them help them sell to what they need so that they don't have these extra expenditures.
Thank you, Brittany, for being here today. The reason why I asked Brittany to be here today is because she is the popcorn kernel for Pack 42. And she took the pack from selling $20,000 to $68,000 in a single year. And we would like to know a little more information of how she did it. So the first question for you, Brittany, is what do you think is the most important quality to have as a popcorn kernel?
Probably to be passionate, excited about what you're doing. Is popcorn season hard, tiring, frustrating? Of course, but knowing that the end result can get all of my scouts to go camping and do all the fun things they want to do without the financial strain was worth it to me. That's why I do it. I found the more excited that I got about popcorn season, the more that my families and my scouts got excited, so the more that they sold. Because honestly, I couldn't do this without my families, and they did this. You know, my success comes from my families.
Perfect. What are the first steps you took to have a successful popcorn sale?
Probably would be to have my unit's budget, making sure that we had an amount in place for the whole year of scouting, and making sure that your units calls council, and making sure you have every little amount of money that could possibly come up in that amount. And then once you have your budget, you can divide that by how many scouts that you have, and then you get a number what each scout needs for that year. And then what I did was I took that number and said, hey, I know we usually do about 40%, so let's do 35%. And then took that and was able to turn that per scout amount into how much popcorn they would need to sell to fully pay for that. And then having a buffer in place, money-wise. So making sure that you leave some kind of, small little amount. That way, if anything comes up throughout the year, like last year we the numbers for the new national came out after we had already set that budget. So we had a buffer in place that actually covered that, so we didn't have to go back to our families. This year, nationals fees went up a little bit more, so it's great to have a little buffer in there, so that way, it's paid for in that amount.
So after you got your budget together, what did you do after that?
Probably the first most important thing that I did was survey my parents. I did a lot of face-to-face talking to my parents, and I would catch them if we went on a hike. I would chit-chat with them. If PAC meetings, DUN meetings, I tried to hit as many of my families as possible to find out what they wanted to accomplish. Like what would make you sell? Like what would make you sell more? Site sales, wagon sales, going door to door, and what would make them want to do multiple site sales and keep going, not just hit their goal, but to keep going. And I thought that was really important to not just send out a survey, but to talk to them face to face, because a lot of them had questions, and sometimes just a online survey just doesn't hit as many people as you want, or you don't get the interaction. So I feel like that was a really big success for us, is talking face to face with our families. And I also wanted to know how they get their goals. Like how do they, like the parent and the scout, how do they set their goals? Is it just their scout coming up with a number? Did they look at the pie sheet? What intrigues them to get to a certain goal? And I also wanted to know what the parents wanted to use the money for. Like if they had an option, if they had, if it was up to them, what would they use all this profits for? What do they want to accomplish from all of this money coming in? So it was really, I wanted to see what the families wanted to do with the money so that I could continue on.
When you talked to the parents, was there any pushback or concerns about selling popcorn?
Oh, of course there was. The biggest one was probably the price of the product. Having a $10 to a $60 product, it seems high for people. But when you really break it down, it's a great profit margin for your unit. $4 for a $10 bag of popcorn is a really good amount. So as I was talking with families, a lot of them would compare to like Girl Scout cookies. $5 a box. It's super cheap. It's super affordable for people. But my daughter sells Girl Scout cookies, so I know the profit side, and that's 65 cents to 80 cents depending on what you've earned per box. So when you break it down, selling 2 boxes of cookies, my daughter would sell, she would earn $1.60, $1.30 to $1.60 for that $10. When my son sells a $10 bag of popcorn, he earns $4. So my daughter would have to sell 5 to 6 boxes of cookies to just profit about the $4 margin. So it comes, she's selling $25 to $30 worth of cookies, and he's selling $10 worth of popcorn. So when you look at any kind of fundraiser, the profit margin is a big, huge thing. So that would lead us into parents want to know where's the money going. A lot of them had no idea, council level, PAC level, where that money was actually going. So it was a hard thing to try to figure out, what the parents needed to feel comfortable for selling the higher priced items. And that was a big thing, is breaking down what went to the PAC, what went to the troop, what went to council level. Why does the council need that much money? It's for all the activities out, the camping and the taking care of the camp guards and stuff. I also had parents that were nervous about site sales. When you've never done something before and you do it for the first time, it's very hard to just jump in both feet, and be excited about it. You get so nervous, and talking parents face to face was the biggest thing, and telling them like, hey, you've got this. The app was a big deterrent for some of my families. Some of them didn't have smartphones. Some of them were not tech savvy. So making them feel comfortable about the app was a huge, huge help, because once they got comfortable with that, then they knew, okay, I can do this. So then it helped a lot more. So, yeah.
So after surveying the parents and hearing their concerns, What did you do with the information from the parents?
I took all of the wants that the parents needed and wanted. I took all of that and made an incentive program. So it broke down all of their, we don't want to pay for Class B shirts. We don't want to pay for summer camp, Aqua Sox tickets, all of this fun stuff that parents would have to, write a check for throughout the year, the extra stuff. I wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to earn those things. So I was able to break down what all of that cost into how much popcorn it would be to earn that. And so I made what we called it our pack point program. So what that did was the scouts, once they hit their pack 350 goal, so that 350 would pay for patches, badges, Pinewood Derby, national fees. It paid for all of that. Once they hit that level, then they could earn, for the first tier was 10 points per $100 they sold. The next level was 15 points per $100, and then 20 points per 100. So the more that they sold, the more points that they earned. And once popcorn was done and they knew how much they earned, they had all those points that the families could then buy their Class B shirt. They could buy their kids' summer camp. They could, buy the family the Aqua Sox tickets to go and use that. So it was a good thing for families not to have all these extra incurring items throughout the year, or if they were in a financial situation where they couldn't afford it. It was not, sorry, we can't go because we don't have the money. It was, hey, we just need to go out one more site sale and sell, this much money. So it incentivized the families to do more, to sell more, earn more points. If they were super close to the next tier, I was always, hey, you're only, one site sale away or $100 away from hitting that next tier, which got you more points. And also with Trails End going to a point system this year, we'll have to tweak ours a little bit and make sure that the families know we do a pack point system, and Trails End is now doing their, points for reward system. But I also wanted the parents to be able to use their points at their discretion. That makes it feel like they're involved. They have control over the profits, not just it's going into a big account and they still have to write a check for summer camp. And then once I figured out all of that and put it into an actual program that worked, or I felt worked, I went back to the parents and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to give them an opportunity. Hey, if I was able, if we were able to give this to you, all of it, if you were able to go out, sell, work hard, earn it all, would you do it? Would you put in that extra effort to sell more? And all of them said yes. I mean, they were very excited about being able to use the points and all of that to their discretion. So yeah, it was great.
Now that you got the parents interested, how did you get the kids excited?
Prizes. What kid is not excited about prizes and incentives? They want to know, hey, what am I going to earn? What am I going to win? So especially with the new Amazon prizes, it was great because, I mean, it's a world of prizes. Anything they could possibly think of, they could earn. So it was easy to say, hey, what do you want? What have you been wanting, for a really long time? iPad, a bike. Okay, do you know you only have to sell this much popcorn to get to that? So it was great getting them involved because they got to pick their own prizes. We also did a pie challenge in our pack, and it was so much fun. The kids, I mean, that was like the greatest part, I think, of the whole entire thing was the pie challenge. For every $500 they sold on popcorn, they got to pie a leader in the face. And there was no maximum. So our top seller that sold over 12,000, he got over 20 some pies to pie his leaders. So I mean, it was so much fun. It was you just gotta find what your scouts are interested in, and for us, we're Cub Scouts, so they're all younger, and it was prizes. That was the major thing. And I also knew that I wanted to do a kickoff. I needed something to get the parents, get the scouts all excited, and it couldn't be at a pack meeting because it couldn't just be a 10-minute little stand up and tell them about popcorn. Popcorn is so much more. There's so many details involved in it. So I knew I wanted to have a secondary meeting just for popcorn, just to get the scouts involved, and not at a pack meeting. It would have to go quicker.
Okay. What did your kickoff look like?
Well, I wanted to make sure that I had a great location first. I knew that I wanted to talk to the parents alone for some parts of it, and I knew that I needed a place where the kids could go off. So our location actually had a little playground right next to it, so it was good. The older kids, watched the younger kids. They got to play and have fun, run out their energy, while the adults got to talk. And I also wanted to make sure that everybody that came through was registered. I didn't want to keep bugging people like, hey, please register. It was just that they came in, we had computers set up, and we got them all signed up. And we also made sure that they downloaded the app, the new Trails End app, and played around with it. If they had a question, I was able to help them, the best of my ability. We worked through some problems with some phones. That way I knew everybody there that came to the meeting was able to open up the app. And they could, we ran through a rough site sale or wagon sale and what it would look like. So it really put their mind at ease. And that was stuff that, the kids, like I said, were outside playing for. I also wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with the app. I have a lot of parents who, like I said, don't have smartphones, or they just aren't tech savvy. It was a good spot to put them at ease that this isn't a big scary thing. If they made a mistake, it's okay. Either I can go fix it, or it's a simple fix for them. So it was something to just put them at ease. I had a folder right there for them so that they could take home, and the folder had everything in it. Everything from council that would put out order forms, their bonus prizes, the Trails End prizes. Everything was in that folder so they could physically see it, hold it. It had our pie challenge, pack point incentive program. I had everything that was important for a popcorn season. That way it wasn't sending out things, having them lose it through email. It was all in one location and tangible. They could hold it, they could see it, and ask questions about anything that they didn't understand. We also did a pledge. I had the $2,500 means a lot to me. The scholarship fund. That was a big thing for me. So what I did was I made it a pledge. It's a high goal. And in the beginning, when you tell parents $2,500, they look at you like you're crazy. But once you get them comfortable and excited about selling, $2,500 is not a whole lot. So what I wanted them to do was pledge that they were going to try their best to earn it. And I made the kids sign it first. I'm not going to push the kids to sell what they don't want to, but if that child wanted, say, hey, I earned that scholarship, I hit that pledge, I wanted them to be the first to sign it. And then I had the parents sign it. And it was something that, they got excited for, their excitement about selling popcorn. I mean, fundraisers, there's so many of them between school and extracurricular activities. I wanted our fundraiser to be the excited one. So by going over all of this and making them excited, I felt like it was going to make them succeed. So once they signed their pledge, the Funko item that the council gave at their kickoff, I used that as a raffle. So once they signed their pledge, I did a little raffle, and then the kids got to, whoever earned it, won it, they got to take that home as a, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit this goal.
After the kickoff, how did your pack run sales?
We decided we wanted to do all of it. We wanted to do online sales. We wanted to do wagon sales, take orders, site sales. We wanted to go big. All of our scouts, we have big goals. We had kids that, $10,000, $12,000 goals. So I knew it was going to be big. So I pushed for all of it. We wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to do anything that they felt comfortable with. I also issued family packs. And in those family packs, I did, our pack goal was $350 per scout, just to cover national fees, our Pinewood Derby, the patches and badges for the year. So I did family packs that equaled $350 worth of product, and let families check it out. Because 9 times out of 10, they weren't bringing back one thing of popcorn. They were going out selling what they could, and then if they didn't sell the rest, they usually bought it. So it was a great way for them to also know, hey, I've hit the 350. That was easy. Let's check out more, or let's do a site sale. We also did, site sales were our big our big profit maker this year. So I knew that I wanted to also do one parent and one scout at a time. Scout sales are better that way, and I knew that when you have multiple scouts out there, it's so hard. You've got a lot of playing, and it's a lot of touching things and arguing and fighting, and sometimes it's just too much playing, and they're not selling. But also the younger kids or the shyer kids kind of got put in the background. You would have an outgoing scout that's taking charge, which is great. You want all your scouts to take charge. But it was putting your shyer, more reserved kiddos behind. Like they would go into their shell. So they're like, oh, so-and-so is gonna go sell for me, so I'll just sit back here and you know, and not sell because I'm scared. But you want them to come out of their shell. You know, I've seen, especially last year, we had so many shy kiddos when they did it one-on-one, you know, one parent, one scout. The first one, they were nervous, but by like the second or third site sale, oh my goodness, they were out there catching all the customers and talking, and sometimes you had to be like, okay, stop talking. You know, you did a good job. They've already bought from you, you know, say thank you. So it was great to see them just flourish. But also with this year, COVID happening, the one parent, one scout is gonna be a big, huge selling point to the stores. It's gonna be hard for the stores to let scouts sell because it's a scary time. So if we do one parent, one scout at a store without a lot of turnover of people and kids, they're gonna let us sell a little bit more. So the one parent, one
what did you
scout
do with site sales
is
to
really
raise
a big
that
help
much money?
in all aspects. After hearing all of our scouts and all their goals, we had lots of high achievers. We had 10,000 goals, 12,000, 15,000. That was what they wanted to achieve. I knew having the higher goals that we were going to need a ton of site sales. And I knew that we were going to have to think outside the box. So I got with my district colonel and I found out all the locations that were council spots, everything that the council already has set up. So I knew that I was going to have to go out and search for, you know, off the wall places, things people didn't think about. I got my families involved. Hey, do you know of any locations? Do you work for a company that, you know, would like to have us here? I mean, we had some really good locations. We did some Harley Davidson weekends. We did Cabela's. We did the Navy Exchange, the commissary area. We did a lot of, you know, just what else could we do? Just in case, you know, council didn't have enough for us, because I wanted to make sure any child that had a goal and their parents wanted them to hit their goal and were willing to help them hit their goal, that they had the opportunity. Not only by wagon sales, but site sales are a little bit easier for families sometimes. You know, kids, when you've got younger kids trying to walk door to door, they get exhausted. But to stand in front of a door for 2 hours, sometimes that's a little more reachable for them. So I wanted to make sure that I had the spots and the locations available so that they could have, you know, reach their goals. I didn't want to be the person that was gonna, you know, not make that happen. So by making sure that I had thought outside the box, we came up with a bunch of other locations that really helped us out. But in doing that, I also wanted to make sure that I kept with my district colonel. I wanted to make, you know, I always made sure, hey, we're going to do this location. Is that okay? Is that approved? Is there any conflicting anything that would possibly happen? So you always want to make sure that you stay in contact with them to make sure there's not, oh, hey, we already have that location, or we're in the works with that location. So I worked with her, you know, to help with that. I also wanted to make sure that my parents had an easy transition at the site sales. So I made sure everything was ready to go for pickup and drop off. So I knew having all these sites, I was going to need a lot of parent help. And in that, you know, if parents, my son also sold popcorn. So I couldn't do it all on my own. I couldn't go and take popcorn to every location. So my families knew that if you're the first person there at the site, you'd be picking up all the popcorn. And if you're the last one there, you'd be dropping it off. So I couldn't have done this without my family. So I had a lot of family help. But I knew that not just the locations, I knew we were going to need multiple sites and shifts at any given time. So we had sometimes 15 to 20 sites on any given Saturday or Sunday. So sometimes we had about 40 to 50 sites in a Friday through Sunday, time frame. So it was a lot of a lot of sites at once.
Wow, that many? What did you do to keep yourself organized?
I made sure that I knew where everybody was going to be. I made sure that I had a list of all the sites that we had going on, who was going to be at each shift. I made sure that I had a running list of phone numbers. In case somebody didn't show up, I had numbers with me, because 9 times out of 10 I wasn't home. I was with my son selling, so I'd have to have him, hey, help them out with that sale. I got to call so-and-so. So I always made sure that I had where everybody was at, what site sales we had going on, and phone numbers. But I also had a backup list of families that couldn't commit to a time and a location, but wanted to be there to help. So I had a list of probably about 5 families who, if somebody was to get sick or canceled or something happened and they couldn't go to their shift, I had a backup list of numbers to call. There was a couple times where we were sitting down for lunch in between our first shift and second, that I was on the phone calling, hey, Dylan got sick, so I need somebody to run their next shift. So that was a big help for us, is having that backup list. And I always made sure that I looked ahead for site sales. So on Thursday, I would put out, hey, we have these 5 or 6 shifts available for this weekend. Can anybody take them? 9 times out of 10, my families were like, sure, I'll take this one, I'll take that one. So it wasn't just us going, site to site. I had multiple families doing 2 or 3 shifts a day, Saturday and Sunday. So it was a lot of help in that sense.
You had that many kids selling that many site sales in one day. That's amazing. How did you keep them engaged and going?
Well, I wanted to make sure that the scouts knew where they were every week. I was sending out emails, Facebook posts, congratulating them what they did for the weekend, what they did in the week's sales. I wanted to make sure that they knew what they were doing counted. Like, it wasn't just they did something and they didn't get to see it. This was gratification for the kids to see, wow, my name's on Facebook and I did, this much in sales. So I was always trying to make sure that the families knew, hey, you did a great job, and hey, this is where you are. You're so close to the next level. I was always trying to get everybody to the next level. Hey, if you sold $100 more, you're going to get to the next prize level, whether it be Trails End, whether it be our pack points, the next pie. So I was always trying to find something to get them to the next level. And that really helped. The kids would get more excited. It's a lot of hard work, but when you've got kids that would do a Friday sale, they would do 2 or 3 on Saturday, 2 or 3 on Sunday. You're right. It's exhausting. So I always was trying to find something to get them going. I also saw a post about a no challenge. And it was basically for every no customer that you got, you would get a point. And after 200, 100, 200, whatever you wanted to make your challenge, they would get a little something, a bag of Skittles, a milkshake on the way home. And I'll tell you what, I had so much great feedback about that, because the kids were so excited to get a no. When they would get a yes, it would be great because somebody would buy something. But when they got that no, they were putting themselves out there. They were, not everybody's going to say yes to everything in their life. So hearing no, it discourages them. But when you make it a game, they were so excited about it. I wanted to make sure that, selling wasn't just going out and being boring. It was, hey, let's make this a game. Let's make it, especially for the younger ones. And even the older ones, my son, I would make a challenge. Hey, you sell 1 bag of caramel corn in the next 10 minutes. And so when he hit that, it was, okay, now sell 2 bags, or sell a bag of chocolate, or upsell. Okay, the next time somebody buys a chocolate bag, upsell them to the tin. Let's see if you can do that in the next, 30 minutes. So it was always something about fun and games and challenges. I would have some parents that would get a hold of me like, hey, my scout is, getting tired. What can I do? And that's always what I told them was, make a challenge, make a fun thing out of it. And 9 times out of 10, they would get back into it, and they're like, oh, hey, that worked. They want to do another one. So it was always great to see, and they would be so excited. hey, Miss Brittany, guess what? I hit this challenge. Or we had one scout, Erin, who would always be like, hey, I got 150 no's. Like, it was great. Like, they would get so excited about the smallest things, and it made you feel better. Like, it made me feel good as a popcorn kernel, that I wasn't just making these kids go out and sell. They were seeing their accomplishments. They, you know, every time they would say, oh, I'm only $10 away, I'm only $100 away from another pie or from the next level, it was, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, can I do another site sale? And you get the parents that are like, oh my goodness, sure, we'll do it. But it was great. It always making it fun helps them get motivated again.
So my son was a part of Pack 42, and he really enjoyed that no challenge. So it really helped him thrive to get better sales.
Good.
Yeah. So to wrap things up, what would you say are the top 10 steps for a successful sale?
Number one would be have a team. Make sure you're not the only person that is doing it all. You're going to get burned out very quickly. Planning. Make sure that you have everything in place between having your budget, making sure you know how much how much money you're going to need for the year, and turning that into how much popcorn you're going to need to sell. Getting parents and scouts excited. If they're not excited about popcorn season, then it's not going to work. But if they are, and you stay excited and you keep them excited, they're going to be out there. They're going to be excited to get to the next levels. Be prepared ahead of time. Always know. Always have everything that you need. Knowing how much popcorn you're going to need. Knowing who's going to be where. You always just want to be prepared. Make families comfortable with the app. Technology is always a hard one, because there's so many challenging things with phones. So doing it ahead of time, trying it out, having them try out their app before they even go to a site sale, making sure everything works. That's always a great plus. Ask for continuous feedback from families. It was very helpful talking with my families throughout popcorn season. What's working, what's not working. There was a couple times we had to tweak some things that just wasn't working the greatest. And families have great ideas. When you include them in things, they're more susceptible to listening and doing what you need. I need an extra person at a site sale. So when you include them, it's getting them involved. Keep family and kids updated, making sure that they always know where they are in their goals, where they are in their sales. You never want a scout to be only $50 shy of the goal that they really were working hard towards. So making sure that you're always keeping them up to date was very helpful. A big one was keeping tabs on your inventory. I always tried to do a week ahead. Making sure that I knew for next week how many site sales we had, how much wagon family packs were out. I never wanted to run short on popcorn. So knowing your inventory like the week before, like on Monday, was a very, very huge help so that we didn't run low. Staying positive and utilizing your team. Once you have your team, if you're not using them, it's not going to work. But staying positive when you've got something that happens, try to stay upbeat. It's exhausting, but I found that the more excited I was, the more everybody else got excited. And the last one would be have fun. Don't make this a chore. Don't make it something more work for families, because when you keep it fun and you keep it exciting, it's going to go great. So good luck.
Thank you, Brittany, for joining us today. So all the information that Brittany has shared with us during this video will be available on our website. And this won't be the last we hear from Brittany. She's also doing our site sale coordinations for the Pilchuck District and our Facebook page for the Mount Baker Council popcorn. And everybody have a great sale.